Hello. Well, the convention for 2021 is now over, and what a marvellous time we had. God really blessed us with 3 weeks of great Bible teaching and fellowship, and we are very grateful to Him for that. One or two people have asked, though, why we didn't have a Derwent conversation, which has been part of our normal programme now for a few years. And sadly, that was one of the casualties, if you like, of a slimmed down convention this year because of the pandemic. But of course, we do want to keep you updated about the Derwent Project. And I think there are probably 4 main areas that people have been interested in with regards to that. The first is the overall financial position. Where are we with the finances needed to meet the cost of the project? Secondly, there is the immediate priority, what we're calling phase 2 of the Derwent Project, to open up the first and second floors for next year's convention. Thirdly, what are we doing with Skidder Street? Are we keeping it? Are we selling it? What are we doing? And fourthly, what are we doing with the packing hall? The packing hall, of course, was the main venue for the convention this year. Let me just run through these very briefly. So first of all, let me give you the big picture financially. As you're aware, the project is a £10.5 million project. That was to be financed, 0.5 million, £500,000 from reserves right at the beginning. 2 million was going to come from the sale of Skidder Street, and I'll come back to that. And 8 million was going to come from fundraising. And of that £8 million, to date, around £7.4 million has been received, leaving 0.6 million still to go. Of course, that 7.4 million includes 1.4 million of loans, and these loans will have to be repaid over the coming years. And so the real task in terms of fundraising is £2 million, the 0.6 balance and the 1.4 million to repay these loans. Now moving on to then the next phase of the project, the Derwent Project phase 2. What we want to do there, as I said, is to open up the first and second floors. We had the ground floor open for this year's convention, and that was really tremendous, very positive. People were really excited by that. We had all the toilet facilities available, which was great. And we had various meeting rooms and venues for seminars available as well. We now want to put in stairs and lifts to access the first and second floors, and also to make them suitable for children and youth work with toilets and some refreshment areas. And also we want to re-render the back of the building to match the front, and also to put new windows in as well to match the front. The front of the building looks magnificent, the rear of the building rather less so, and we want to bring that up to the same standard as the front. And the overall cost of phase 2, we estimate at being about £600,000, and we probably have about £200,000 of that. But we need to raise a further £400,000, and we need to do it fairly quickly so that we can go to the contractor with a contract for that work sometime in the autumn. Moving on to Skidder Street. In the early days, we thought we would sell Skidder Street to enable us to raise funds for the Derwent Project. A number of things have changed our mind on that. The first is that the planners have designated that area as an area of low-cost housing, so it's probably not worth the £2 million we thought it might be worth. The value might be nearer £1 million. Also, we have bedroom accommodation there, which we used during the convention for some of our volunteers, and also use at other times of the year as well. And if we were to transfer that down to the pencil factory, that would probably cost in excess of £500,000 to put that into the pencil factory. So keeping it where it is probably quite a good idea. And we've also identified that we can raise quite a bit of revenue from that site. We have a trust in at the moment using the ground floor, the old offices, and they're paying us a sum of money per year. We're able to use the car parking to generate some revenue. We're looking at a fairly modest investment just to convert what we call the bunk rooms on the ground floor, but also the utility block, the old toilet block, into residential accommodation. That will be used by ourselves during the convention for much needed bed space, but also can be used at other times of the year to generate income. And we believe that actually we could generate income more than sufficient to service a loan of £2 million or thereabouts, should we choose to go down that route. So at the moment, Skidder Street is going to stay with us. And then the packing hall. The packing hall was a great venue used this year. Obviously, we do want a venue where everyone can be together. And so next year we are looking at a tent of a similar size to the Skidder Street tent to go onto the grounds for the main venue for the convention. But the packing hall will certainly be used, can be used for base camp and for coffee and bookstall and many other things. A few of us in 2019, before the pandemic struck, a few trustees and staff did a tour of that site just before the bulldozers came in to knock it down. And we all looked at each other and said, it would be madness to get rid of this facility. Yes, it needs some work done in it, but actually it's a great venue and we could certainly use it. And of course, it means that we don't have to then hire tents, hire marquees, which are quite expensive each year for base camp and bookstall and so on. So we're retaining the packing hall, and a number of volunteers have expressed an interest in doing some work. It doesn't need a huge amount of work to retain that kind of industrial chic feeling that many people enjoyed this year. But the outside could do with them spruced up, and there are a few things that could be done and could be done well by volunteers. So I hope that has just been helpful as a brief update of where we are on the Derwent Project. We do value your support, your prayerful support, and also your financial support over a number of years now for this project. And do pray that God will lead you and guide you as you think how much you might be able to contribute to this next stage of the project, as we seek to particularly open up these 2 floors for children and for youth work for the 2022 convention. So thank you, and may God bless you.